Hi friends, so in today's video, I'm going to show you how I batch made these 5 travel themed notepad holders. And then I'm also going to walk you step by step on how to make them from start to finish. I've really been loving batch making items lately because it really does save me so much time. And it helps me stay consistent because I make the majority of my items for my Etsy shop and for craft fairs. For this set, I used a travel themed collection and I did work in assembly line style, cutting everything first and then scoring and decorating. So let's get into the process. So this is the collection that I'm working with. It's called Away We Go. It's by Echo Park Paper. I have the complete collection here and it comes with several cut apart sheets and a sticker sheet. These colors are just beautiful. There's this navy blue, orange, there's pink, light blue, and a minty green. Everything is travel themed, of course, and I love all the pattern pieces that are in here. It's a really nice variety of stripes and patterns and florals. This is such a great collection if you're making anything travel related. Okay, so for the first thing I've done is I've chosen several solid cardstock colors that coordinate with this paper pack. And since I'm batch making these, I've picked one in several different colors. And the first thing we need to do is we need to start by making the notepad holder itself. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do that. So to make the holder, you will need 2 sheets of solid cardstock. For the first sheet, you're going to cut it at the 11-inch mark and then cut it at the 5 and 7/8 inch mark. Now for the second sheet of cardstock, you will again cut it at the 11-inch mark and then you'll turn it and you will cut it at the 8-inch mark. Okay, so now we're going to add our score lines to both pieces. Starting with the smaller piece, we're going to score it at the 5.5-inch mark, and then we'll turn the paper and we're going to score it at the 2 3/4 inch mark. Now for the larger piece, we're going to score along the 8-inch side, score at the 3/8 of an inch mark, then the 5 and 7/8 inch mark, and then last at the 6 1/4 inch mark. Now we turn the paper and we make a score mark again at the 2 3/4 inch mark. Okay, so now we need to fold along all of the score lines. I really like to take my time with this step and make sure that all of my folds are nice and straight and really crease them well so that everything lays flat. This really helps my project come together a lot cleaner in the end, and I noticed that it just gives it a really much better look if I take my time here. Okay, now that everything is folded, I'm going to remove this small section here where I've marked an X. I originally cut it to the first score line, but actually you want to cut it to the second score line. Later on, I noticed I had made the mistake and then did go back and actually remove that little piece. Okay, so now we're ready to attach the two pieces together. I like to use liquid glue at this point because I found that if I use adhesive, it just will not stay together as well. So as you can tell in the video, the 3/8 inch mark that we have on each side is what gets glued together, and that's going to make the holder, and it also creates a spine at the same time. Once I have them glued together, I use my bone folder here, and I really burnish everything down so it sticks nicely. The next thing we need to glue is the center section here. And I put just a little bit of glue in the center that creates the pockets on both sides. And then of course you glue the two sides on the edges on the right and the left. And now we have two pockets. And then I just want to real quickly go back over all of my folds and recrease them so that the holder, I'm sorry, will stay nice and close really easy. This is the little piece I was telling you about that I needed to go back and remove there. And then the very last thing I want to do is round the corners of both this edge and the inside edge so that it has a nice finished look. And so off camera, I went ahead and made the rest of the folders in the other colors because remember I said that I wanted to batch make as many as I can. So I was able to make a total of 5 holders, a yellow, a navy blue, an orange, and 2 mint greens. And now to use those leftover scraps that we have from making the holders, I'm going to go ahead and use those pieces for the rest of the project. For the first piece, I want to use as my card fronts. And I need 4 card fronts. And of course, those measurements or the measurement for the card fronts are always going to be 5 1/4 by 4. And then the second scrap piece I'm going to use is going to be for the bookmark. And that measures 2 inches by 11 inches. And I just fold that in half, use my tag punch to punch the topper off of it, and there I have my bookmark. It just needs to be adhered together. And then off camera, I just repeated the same process with the rest of my scraps for the other colors and made all of the card fronts and the bookmarks for those as well. And since I really don't like to waste anything, with these little scrap pieces that I have left, I plan on using them to decorate the insides of my cards, the bookmarks, and the fronts of my cards. All right, now I'm ready to go through my paper collection, and I chose one pattern paper to go with each of the solid notepad holders. This pattern paper will be used to decorate the outside of the holder, the 4 cards, and the bookmark so that everything coordinates nicely together. And now for each pattern paper, the first thing I like to do is go ahead and cut the bats for the holder first because that's what uses the most amount of paper. For the first cut, you want to make sure your paper is facing the correct direction. And I have mine going to the left. And then you want to go ahead and make your first cut at the 7 7/8 mark. Now we're going to cut this piece into 3 sections. The first section is 1 1/2 inch. And then the next 2 sections are both 5 1/4 inches each. The smaller piece will go on the flap, and then the other 2 pieces will be used for the front and the back covers. All right, now that we have the sections ready to go, I need to round the same corners that I find on the cover. And then once I have those corners rounded, I'm ready to adhere everything down. I'm just going to go ahead and start adhering all of these pieces down. I like to work one piece at a time and make sure everything's lined up nicely and try to leave a small border that's even all the way around. Believe it or not, I have ripped up more pieces trying to hurry and get these glued down than I care to admit. But once it's finished, then our notebook holder is all done and it looks so cute, I think. Okay, for the remaining piece of pattern paper that we did not use yet, I'm going to start by trimming off the branding strip, and then I'm going to divide it into 5 sections, and each of those sections will be used to decorate the 4 cards and the bookmark. And now I am ready to start decorating the cards. This is where I'm going to pull from the rest of my paper collection. I've already gone through and cut apart all of the cut aparts, and I've chosen 4 for one. Well, I've chosen 4, but 1 for each card. I'm also using all of the scraps from the pattern paper along with the scraps from the different colors of cardstock. This is where I'm going to mix and match everything. Since I'm batching everything, this is perfect because not one color is going to be stuck with one notepad cover. I can really mix and match and it's going to look really, really nice. Okay, so at this point, I'm not going to talk through the process because I do have lots of people who ask me just to go ahead and show the process of me decorating the cards. So I'm going to let some music play and you can just watch how I decorate each of the cards to go with this particular set. Okay, so now that I'm finished decorating all the cards and the bookmark, I want to work on the cover itself. I found this cut apart that is in the collection. I like it a lot. It's just too big, so I'm going to trim it down and make it my focal point on the cover front. It's already decorated so cute, so I don't think I really need to add very many embellishments to go with it. Okay, so now that everything is finished, well, mostly, we can add all of our parts that go inside. This particular notepad is 5x7. I purchased it at the Dollar Tree. However, I like the ones you get from Amazon a lot better because they have a nice little black strip at the top that stays with it the whole time and you can decorate it. Here, I do decorate the first page, but then it gets torn off and it doesn't have decorations anymore. That's why I prefer the ones from Amazon. So this particular notepad cover also has Velcro. On 3 of the ones I used magnets, and then 2 of the ones I used Velcro. And so you could use either one. I do think I prefer the magnets though. There are just a few remaining steps that go with this. So I need to add the ribbon to the topper of the bookmark. And then the last thing we need to do is add envelopes. And then I make a pretty ribbon that goes around each one. And I do tie it and I keep it loose enough to where it slips on and off to create kind of a belly band. Okay, I'm all done. So here is a look at all 5 finished notepad holders, and I love how they turned out. I think they're all different, but they still work together as a set. And so just a quick recap, they have 4 cards with envelopes, a matching bookmark, and a 5x7 notepad. And then at the very end, of course, I make a really pretty ribbon closure. Well, thank you so much for staying till the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to subscribe and let me know if you want to see any more batch making videos like this. And if you're interested in any of these, I have them linked in my Etsy shop. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.